So, Bullard, Texas, the proud home of the Bullard Panthers and the recent winner of the Living in Tyler, Texas YouTube channel's best suburb of Tyler, Texas. I may be a little bit biased because we all know that I love Bullard so much, but today I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to give you my top 4 pros and bottom 4 cons of living in Bullard, Texas. So if you're considering the move to Bullard, then stick around because I think this is going to be helpful to know for you. Howdy everyone and welcome back to the channel. For everyone new, my name is Ronnie and if you want to know what it's like to live, eat, sleep, work and play in Tyler, Texas and the surrounding areas just like Bullard, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're the first to be notified on any Tyler, Texas market updates. I'm getting calls every day of people just like you looking to move to Tyler, move within Tyler or sell their Tyler home. So if that does sound like you, give me a call, shoot me a text or send me an email and we can get you into your dream Tyler home. Bullard, Texas, so the number 1 on my list of best places to live. My wife and I decided to move to Bullard, absolutely loved it. So this is going to be quite a difficult one for me, but got my piece of paper here with my pros and cons. So if you've been watching this channel for any substantial period of time, you know I'm going to be honest with you. So nowhere in this world is perfect. So without further ado, let's jump in and start with our first pro of living in Bullard, Texas, which our first pro, number 1, is going to be the location. So in Bullard, you're about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes from South Tyler, which South Tyler is the place where it's popping, is where all the new businesses are popping up. All the restaurants that you kind of want to go to, anything you could think of, all the parks, you can find it in South Tyler. So from Bullard, depending on where you are, you're about 10 minutes from that. So that's a really, really close drive. And I can't think of any other big cities who have suburbs like Bullard to Tyler, where you drive 10 minutes and you're into town, that is where you want to be. So that is a great thing, is you can just hop in the car and be 10 minutes away rather than be driving 45 minutes somewhere. Also, another thing I'll say about the location is it's an absolutely beautiful area. We've got rolling hills here in Bullard. We've got farms everywhere. We've got cattle ranches. You drive around and just see the absolutely beautiful scenery. When I like to go driving around sunset, it makes it sound like I'm in a country song right now, but I go driving around, have a really nice sunset. You see the hills off in the background. You see Sally the cow looking at you. It's a good time. But if you're the type of person who wants to potentially buy a house, get some land one day, then Bullard definitely is the place for you, because at the moment it's not too crowded. Now I know people disagree with me who have been in Bullard for a while, but it's not too crowded. Houses aren't on top of each other. There's still enough room for buying some land and a lot of space. So that's one of the reasons I love Bullard. So my first pro is going to be the location. Moving on to our first con, which is also going to be location. Now, I know I said it's the pro and this might be a cop-out, but yes, location. So because Bullard is far south of Tyler, so 10 minutes from South Tyler, that also means it's going to be around 45 minutes to an hour away from Lindale, at the top of almost all the suburbs that I like to look at. So if you have friends in Lindale, if you want to do something in Lindale, then it's going to be about an hour drive, unfortunately. So that's what I'll say about the location. Compared to if you were in the middle of Tyler and you had a house there, it's an equal drive. It's like a 20-minute drive from Bullard and a 20-minute drive from Lindale. So you're going to be in a more optimal position. It all depends on what your goals are and what you want in a place to live. Like, I haven't got the need to go to Lindale too often unless I'm selling a house there. It's a little wink for all my Lindale folk out there. But it's very person specific. If you think you're going to have a lot of things you need to do in Lindale, if you've got kids that are going to be going in the Lindale school district, then maybe Bullard isn't the best pick for you, and maybe look into Lindale, which Lindale is a great choice too. And also, because Bullard is technically more out in the country, there will be some areas, if you do get a bit of land, where the sales service could be a little bit spotty. It's getting a lot better, and with some of the Wi-Fi companies and cell towers being put up, it's getting a lot better, but that still could be an issue depending on where you are. Pro number 2, which is going to be the community, the people, whatever you want to call it. The people of Bullard are fantastic people. They are so friendly, make you feel like friends and family. You're going to be driving around, you're going to be going to the Brookshires here in Bullard, and you're just going to be looking at the people around, and they're such friendly people. It's just so different than what I've ever been used to. So I grew up in England. People don't really talk to each other. If you're getting on the train to go to work or go out, it's socially acceptable. You just keep your eyes down, you don't look at people. But here in Bullard, that is not the case at all. You're going to be talking to everyone. People are really friendly, making you feel welcome. The community feel is just so amazing. If you go to a high school football game, it's just getting the feeling of the whole community of Bullard being in one place, cheering on for the Bullard Panthers, and that community feel, it makes you feel really proud to be where you're from. So Bullard really has that strong community feeling. So that's why it is my second pro. Con number 2, it's everyone's favorite topic. It's going to be taxes. In this particular case, it's going to be property taxes. So the property tax rate in Bullard and really some of the surrounding suburbs of Tyler is a little bit higher than other places in the country, really. So that's going to be Texas as well. Texas property taxes are a little bit higher. So on average, your property taxes that you're going to be paying in Bullard is going to be around 2 to 3%, which it's not as bad as some places, but the national average is going to be in the 1%. So you are going to be paying a little bit more money for property taxes in Bullard, but that is going to pay for a lot of good things. For example, the police department is really well funded here in Bullard. We really support our police and police officers. The schools, little spoiler alert, it's going to be later on in the list, but you're paying good money to have some of the best schools in East Texas. The roads, the structures, the businesses, all of this, your tax-paying dollars are going to this. So at least you know that your money's going in a good place and building up the community. If you didn't see it, I actually did a video last week talking about the residential homestead property tax exemption. So if you've bought a house in Bullard or anywhere around in Texas, I'd highly recommend checking that out because you're going to want to apply for that because it's going to save you money on your property taxes. Number 3, I've already alluded to, fancy word. I've already alluded to, but it's going to be the schools. The schools here in Bullard, the Bullard ISD or Independent School District is one of the highest rated school systems in East Texas and really high rated in Texas in general. Bullard, we have the public schools. So there's a lot. There's Bullard Primary School, Bullard Elementary, Bullard Intermediate School. You've got the middle school, and you've got the high school as well. I believe there's 5, but they're all almost on the same location. So there's a big plot of land and all of the schools are within steps of each other, which is really nice because they're 2-year intervals until you get to the high school, but 2-year intervals when your kid transfers to the next school, to the next one, to the next one. So there's not going to be too much headache as you as a parent because you're basically going to be going to the same location, but it's quite nice for them to have it segmented into 2-year blocks up the schools. So that's the public schools, and they're so highly rated. Bullard schools as well as Lindale schools are some of the highest rated schools. I'm really proud of the schools over here. So you're going to get a good education as a kid going to a public school here in Bullard. We've also got Brook Hill School, which is a private academy, and that is off the charts on everything it's rated on. It's a private school, so it may be a little bit expensive, but just so highly rated. The kids wear uniforms. You've got the American Freedom Museum attached to that. It's just a beautiful school. I drive past it almost every day. It's an amazing place. So that could potentially be something to look into if you're looking at Bullard and you've got kids school age. Look at Brook Hill School. But if you don't want to go Brook Hill, the public schools here in Bullard, top notch. Con 3, you've got to take with a little pinch of salt because this doesn't happen all the time, but I'm going to be talking about the traffic. Normally, Bullard is completely fine. You drive around, it's just a small country town. You don't see that many cars. However, because there's one main intersection in Bullard and it's a 4-way stop sign, times when it gets busy, so rush hours kind of going into work or pick up from school, you're going to have a bit of congestion. You're going to have backup of cars because you've got the 4-way stop. It's not a light, so people are taking turns and it's going to get backed up a little bit, maybe around 4:30, 5 p.m. and early in the morning as well. So you're going to get a tiny bit of traffic, nothing to the extent of Tyler or definitely nothing to the extent of a big city, but a little bit of traffic. So that's a con in my book. Also, with the school, with Bullard Middle School and the schools at pickup time, you're going to have a little bit of traffic. Now, the police officers do a really, really good job. The Bullard ISD police do a really good job at directing traffic. So no matter what time it is, even if there is a little bit of congestion, they do a really good job of directing traffic. So it's not too big of an issue, but a little bit of traffic. So I'm going to add that as a con. Okay, so my fourth and final pro for today, and it's kind of my wheelhouse, but it's going to be houses. Price of houses, look of houses, house location, just everything about houses I think is a pro. And I get really enthusiastic because I'm in real estate and I love houses. But the average price of a house is around the 350 mark here in Bullard. And if you compare that to the national average is around $430,000. So here in Bullard, the cost of living in that house price is just so much lower, and that's just the average. You can find a good, nice home for around 200 or the low 200s at least, and then you can also find homes ranging up into even in the millions if you want a lot of land as well. So I think Bullard houses are absolutely beautiful. There's a bunch of new build communities popping up here in Bullard, which is a really good sign because it means builders see a lot of opportunity here. And honestly, if I was a home builder, I'd be building a lot of houses in Bullard as well, because I see a lot of people in the future moving here, which is really going to increase the size, and whether that be a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but we're going to need those new houses. So you've got the new houses popping up, really affordable. You've got nice luxury houses in places like Pecan Valley Ranch. You've got houses on land. You've got ranches. You've got farms. You've kind of got a huge pick of houses here in Bullard, and you have nice little subdivisions too. So I haven't got a bad word to say about the houses here in Bullard, and as a real estate agent, that really excites me. I'm just a fellow house lover. Finishing up with our fourth and final con, but it can also be a pro. So again, I'm kind of being a bit of a cop-out, but it's a small town. Bullard is a small town. We've got about 3,500 people, a small downtown area. I absolutely love that. I'd say that's a pro to me. I think it's really cute, quaint downtown, small town, people know each other. However, if you're used to a bigger city, maybe if you're coming from Dallas, if you're coming from LA, if you're coming from Denver, and you come to Bullard expecting your lifestyle to be the same, you're going to be sadly mistaken, because you're not going to have all the main things you have in a really big city. We've got one Brookshire's as our grocery store. We have a really tiny police station. We have a couple of restaurants and some good restaurants, but not a huge selection by any means. And there's not too much for entertainment going around. So if you're expecting that, yes, you can get it in Tyler to an extent. Not to the same extent as a huge city, but you can get it in Tyler, so a little bit of a drive away. If we're focusing on Bullard and just like the Bullard city limits, we're not going to have that. It's just going to be the small town feel. Maybe some people will find it boring living here. I don't. I absolutely love it. But like anything, and I'll say it all the time on this Living in Tyler, Texas channel, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. If you're the type of person who loves that small town feel and you're not a big clubber, partier, you need a different thing to do every single night, you're absolutely going to love it here in Bullard and Tyler in general. But if you're the type of person that likes to do all these things, maybe you won't. Maybe you think this is going to be the most boring place in the world. I don't. I love it. And with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. But if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, my name's Ronnie Withers, and I want to know what you think about Bullard. If you live in Bullard, any questions, just thoughts, feeling, do you think I made the right decision putting Bullard as the top of my list on top suburbs? Let me know in those comments below. If you've got any questions, reach out to me. If you're thinking about moving to Bullard or Tyler, give me a call, text, or email, and I'd love to help you. Until next time, cheerio.